Hello there, this is Richard Shepherd from LeaseOptionsMastery.com, the site I run with my two partners, Shimon Rudik, the UK's leading lease options solicitor, and Hanif Khan. Now what we're going to be talking about in this short video is the 10-10 lease options PowerPlay. Now before we get there, a word of warning. We're aware that there are other people out there that are using our name and putting our name to things that we don't necessarily endorse. Now this is a very dangerous game because we are not affiliated with any other people. The strategies that we endorse are MS Law authorized contracts. Now this is really important because, you know, if your modus operandi is to jet into the country, teach a bunch of things, to jet out and have no real say or no real interest on whether options are brought into the mainstream in this country or not, then you can afford to be slightly blasé with the law. However, MS Law only make money if you actually are out there doing option agreements, and that's why we actually work very closely with MS Law. The contracts are 100% legal, and we make sure that they're 100% legal, and they also operate in the UK. So they are authorized MS Law contracts. Now, that said, let's now get on to the 10-10 strategy. What is the 10-10 strategy? The 10-10 strategy is basically another very effective power play, and comes into play when you go out to see a motivated seller and they want to sell their house, but let's say that their expectations are completely unrealistic. Let's say that they're asking for way much more than the property is actually worth. You can try all the negotiation power plays you like, but nothing just seems to be working. So you can be trying the higher authority, you can be trying the nibble, you can be trying the red herring, you can try trying all of these different power plays, but nothing really seems to be working. Where the 10-10 strategy comes in is when you have a mortgage that is very high, or even when the property is in negative equity. Now, of course, you can't. If it's a negative equity, you can't really go out and make a below market value offer because it's just not going to work. The seller's not going to be able to sell that house. Now, just a word of advice: be very careful, because when you're actually going out to see these properties, if the mortgage is a Northern Rock mortgage, there may be a huge opportunity here that all of the other investors miss. There could be other mortgages, but Northern Rock is, in our experience, what seems to be the key phrase. It's Northern Rock mortgage. The reason being is that Northern Rock, a few years ago, were giving away 125% mortgages. So if the property was worth £100,000, they would actually grant you a £125,000 mortgage. So a lot of these properties now are in negative equity. So the 10-10 strategy actually works quite well here. So here's the scenario. You've got a property that's worth £200,000. The mortgage on the property is £220,000. So the mortgage is worth more than the property's worth. The mortgage payments per month are £600 a month. And the rent on the property is that you'd be able to get is £750 a month. So you would be able to get £150 a month positive cash flow. Now the seller is unwilling or unable to sell their property for anything less than £220,000. So they want to walk away from the property, but they can't really sell this property for anything less than £220,000 because that's the mortgage that's actually left on the property. What's you going to do? With this one, what you're going to do is a trade-off. This deal won't otherwise work. You can't do a no money down on it. You can't do a below market value transaction on it. But the cash flow is okay. So what you want to find is a way to actually make the cash flow work. You can get the cash flow to work. It's cash flowing at £150 a month for now. But how are you actually going to be able to buy this property, given the fact that there's no equity in it, really? However, the underlying mortgage is pretty good. What you're going to say to them is like, Mr. Seller, your property is worth £200,000. Do you agree with that? The seller's going to say yes. But you agree with me that the property is negative equity, so the property has got a mortgage on it that's £220,000. Yes, that's correct. Okay. So you want me to pay 10% more than the value of the property? Yes, that's correct. Okay. What if I'm happy to give you 10% more than the value of the property, will you give me 10 years to buy it? Now, in most circumstances, the seller's going to say yes here. The reason why is that the seller's got no other offers. There's no way that anybody coming in off the street, anybody walking in from an estate agent, is going to be able to buy that property because it's in negative equity. And if the market value is 200, really they're going to be looking for a deal round about the 180, 190,000 pounds mark. The only thing that makes this attractive is the terms that you can buy this property, i.e. can you have a long time period in order to buy it. So, this is the 10-10 rule. It's a very effective strategy in this market. You're trading off the purchase price versus the length of the option term that you can actually get using a lease option. Using this principle alone is enough to transform very difficult deals. We've used this strategy quite a bit. It's very effective. It's very effective in reducing the unrealistic expectations. Perhaps the mortgage isn't 220. Perhaps the seller's actually just holding out for £220,000 because they don't want to tell their friends that they're going to sell for less than that. So basically, if I can pay you 10% more of the property value, can I have 10 years in order to buy it? Very effective strategy. Do use that when you're negotiating some of these lease options. Now, I just want to show you about a very special webinar that we're running this month. If you've liked this video, you like this strategy, then do click on the like button below. Next Wednesday, on the 23rd of March, we're running another webinar on selling houses for vast profits. Now, this webinar is going to show you a number of strategies that you can use to make £2,750 a month to £10,000 per month or more from trading properties, from selling properties that you don't own. It's a very effective strategy. We ran this webinar last month. We've also taken advantage of having some feedback from people that were on the webinar, some questions. We've incorporated everybody's questions. We've also incorporated a number of new tips, so things that people haven't actually learned right now, so that you can capitalize on earning £10,000 more per month by selling properties or trading properties and using that cash to build your own property portfolio. So we've only got a limited access. Some people were locked out on this webinar last time. If you want to get onto this webinar, just go to www.leaseoptionsmastery.com/events. This is Richard Shepherd. Happy hunting.